Good evening and welcome to the FriendsGiving Telethon 2021. My name is Mitch Factorial. I represent Support Black Art and I am here with Habanero Papi and Art of Mirror. We're here today and we're going to talk about NFTs. What are NFTs? How can you make money? How do they even work? So I guess we could take it from the top. Why don't we just go into introducing ourselves a little bit further? Let's start with you.
Thank you, Mitch, first of all, for having us here.
Of course.
My name is Habanero Papi, Eric Rodriguez, and I am a curator of events here in New York City, caterer and mixologist. I have about 7 years of experience in the nightlife industry here in New York City, and I'm using all that expertise now to create NFTs on a level that benefits New York City.
Nice. Nice. Okay, thank you. How about you? What's up?
What's going on? My name is Watson Mir. I've been an exhibiting artist since 2016. Recently had some work within the Black Wall Street Gallery in Soho, the Venice Art Gallery in Venice, Italy, and other places around the world in New York City. The physical component of art in the art world is what I've more so been into, but this digital aspect of it with NFTs is something I'm really interested in getting used to and getting to know more about.
That's dope. Cool. Thank you guys for your intro. So a little bit more about me. My name is, again, Mitch Factorial, and I run an organization called Support Black Art, and we work towards creating a more equitable art world. So here we are. It's 2021, and there's a new wave, right? Some know it as the metaverse. Others have no idea what it is, right? We here as working artists and creatives, of course, we're always going to make sure that we're in a situation to sustain ourselves and our legacy through our work. Here comes NFT. Let's start from the top, right? So I actually would love to start with you. And Habanero, is that what I would
Habanero.
Habanero.
Honestly, habanero. You got to roll
Habanero. Habanero. I did that right? Okay, cool. All right, cool. So let's start from the top, right? What is NFT? And for those that don't know, NFT stands for non-fungible tokens.
So that is the technical jargon that honestly, once we say to anybody, is just going to go over their head like, all right, I got it. Non-fungible token. Okay, cool.
Right.
What does that necessarily mean? That's basically telling you that it's something that doesn't have a attached value now is placed in a marketplace that can actually rise. So they don't ever want to associate a value with it because that can fluctuate. So that would be the term to describe it.
Okay. So these NFTs exist, and can we take a step back, right? I'll be honest, there's a plethora of information in YouTube University about this. But can we take a step back and talk about blockchain? Because you mentioned a marketplace. Like, what are all these things? Like, I have no idea, and this is true.
So blockchain, the easiest way to describe that is a authenticator. Blockchain is something that verifies the fact that, you know, this money is actually valid and the transaction went through and was approved.
Okay.
Blockchain is important to us now because the only knowledge we've ever known of currency and money is what the governments, you know, issue to us. Like phones carriers, we only knew AT&T and certain things in the past, and then all of a sudden, like Boost Mobile and Cricket and all these guys came out because decommissioning of these services became a standard. So with currency right now, blockchain basically allows the regular people to now come up with what they view as currency. And just like anybody, I could say this is valuable, but the blockchain really authenticates it and makes sure that it's something tangible that you can use and convert to US dollar amount, yen, euro.
Okay, and just to go a little bit deeper technically, the way that this is done is, and what you mentioned a second ago, did you mean decentralization? Like, meaning that how do I know that this is authentic? And how is these purchases, how are they validated? Of course, it's not like one host, right? One central system. There are many different computers and and then I understand a ledger, right? Can you like go into that just a little bit?
So there are many different platforms right now emerging using blockchain technology. I don't want to speak on the ones that are not standard or issue. So I will talk about basic ones like Coinbase, MetaMask, things of that nature where They have these digital wallets, and they have already been approved by the industry to have those verification standards. When you talk about ledgers, you're talking about the ability to store information. So we want to make sure that we're trusting someone to validate a transaction from somewhere across the country or across the world, that they have enough server capacity in order to handle that transaction, store it for years to come in case I ever need to get audited for something 10 years later. So there's things of that nature that like helps us, trust in a particular company when we do our due diligence, that they have this server capacity to store all that information.
Okay. So next question. I know you have a bunch of questions. I know. Okay, we'll get to it in a second. My next question for you, and pertaining to this system, right? So, for example, let's just say I was a painter, right? And I have this artwork physically, right? How do I turn it into an NFT? And once it's an NFT, how do I make money off of it? Can you explain that process?
This is the $1 million question.
Right.
And I swear if I wrote a book, I would say buy my book for all the answers. But
you still can.
Legit, I feel like the way it's working right now, so let's answer your question in the most simplest form. You have an artwork, something that's tangible. You say you deal with the physical verse right now, right? So this physical artwork, I would need to get it graphically made in order to put it as an NFT. But that can be by many different forms. I could literally get an artist to reconstruct it bit by bit in a digital form, or I can actually just take a picture of this artwork and upload that. But once it's digitized in whatever format, as a portrait or as the exact painting that was made, it is now an NFT. How does an artist make money off of it now is the next question. And the way that works is literally through community interactions. Right now, NFTs is something that we're all talking about, but it's not saturated yet. It's not something where everyone is actually doing it. The ones that are doing it are the graphic artists, the creatives. They're the ones who are heavily invested, but that world is still so small. So in order for your NFT to be successful, tap into those communities that these graphic artists are making, and expand your network in order so that your artwork and your NFT can go. NFTs are like the dollar bills that have the potential to be $1 million bills. So once you're in this graphic art world and these creatives see it, everyone wants to have, your token. They want it. They want to have something of yours, because in this new world that's coming, the more the merrier.
Okay. So do you have a question? I feel like you wanted to say something a second ago.
No, I was going to say, for me as an artist, and I've been knowing about NFTs since the big wave of it came. I think it was around March or April, where everyone was talking about it. But it's kind of like I know that that's the route that the world is going, but there's still some hesitancy, and I'm pretty sure that's the case with a lot of artists. What are some of the some of the information to make sure that my art is being protected once I do put it out into this world, in the sense of am I completely losing the rights to this art if I put it on within this platform? How do we kind of what's the reassurance that we have that I'm still going to have some type of rights to this work?
So you said you started finding about NFTs earlier this year, around March and April. I found out about it in August of this year. And the way I found out about it was actually through Tory Lanez, when he mentioned that he did an album via NFT, sold $1 million for $1, right? Now, just that understanding of it itself just shows how you protect your artwork. He didn't release this audio file through any Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, anything like that. He literally made this a protected, encrypted file work, sold something that leads to that in order to make sure that the only way you can have access to this is by purchasing this NFT. A lot of people really think it just attached to having a one-of-one artwork. And while that is something that is unique and definitely important to have, if you're protecting yourself, you don't want your one-of-one artwork to be the actual NFT, because it will be visible by many in the world. So anyone could literally just copy and paste. You'll go through the process of, all right, I have the tangible one, but who wants to go through all that, right? So if you really want to protect it, my advice is to have something that not camouflage, but something that's a segue into your one-of-one. Your one-of-one is so rare, and whoever that person is that buys your NFT, you want them to be protected too. No one else should have access to it. So you should have something else that is made as your NFT that you wouldn't care if it's copied or something, but it's still unique to you, and then that leads them into purchasing or obtaining your one-of-one.
Okay, and only they would have access to
Only
it.
they would have it.
Okay,
Only they
see,
would see it.
That I had a question because I had this like random page follow me and they have a bunch of like little graphics on there and they're like, oh, we're launching X,
Yeah.
Y, and Z. You know the bots,
I know.
right? The bots are just everywhere, right?
Yes, exactly.
Oh my
So,
God.
for me, I'm a troll sometimes. I just went to the comments because I'm like, I know y'all are thinking what I'm thinking, right? And what I was thinking is, so if I screenshot this, do I now own it? How does that work? What if this person, I don't know, what if that photo that I saw was only on Instagram? They didn't even put it as an NFT in the metaverse, whatever. If I screenshot it and say, what would I be able to mint it and make money off of it because they didn't get to it? Like, how does that even work? Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense. And in the world that we are in right now, NFTs is not regulated. So those are going to be instances that come up where people are going to face plagiarism issues. We see right now Disney is entering by making sure they get copyright laws, Nike and all these other people, because they know that they're going to want to make exclusive in the digital world that you can't even make a digital version. Because think about right now on Instagram, if you want to upload like a song, it'll tell you right now, this song you cannot upload because so it's embedded in the code. It's not like us right now where like Courage the Cowardly Dog is a character. I can draw him right now if I want to. Who can stop me? You can literally be stopped from uploading something now because that digital code is embedded and it's copyrighted. So we're entering that realm. But I figured the best way to protect yourself is the same advice that I gave. We'll just make sure that whatever, if we have something so unique, it shouldn't be displayed. It shouldn't be the one that everyone has access to. So
the days of open sharing on the gram,
that's
right,
true.
are kind of capped, right? If you're looking to make some coin off of a piece and you NFT it, because then once it's in the public channel for free, then why would I pay for it in the blockchain? You get what I'm saying? Is that so? Essentially, is that what you're saying?
So now what this boils down to is marketability.
Right.
How do you market your NFT? How do you get it from being something, all right, I have this one-of-one artwork. I don't want enough people to see it, but I want everybody to kind of know what I'm doing so they can have access to it. And, I think everyone wants to know, how do I make money off of this? But as an artist, it boils down to what do you do? You have to tailor it specifically to you as an artist for it to work. So everyone is going to be watching Bored Apes and Cyberpunks because these guys are now taking over the crypto market, and what they're doing is making hundreds, thousands of the same character but with different variations.
Different things, right.
And while that is something you can emulate, hey, let's go with apples, let's go with sharks, we can do 100 of those, but that's just one way NFT works. This world, once again, it's unregulated. There's so many different ways that you can create an NFT to fit for your profile, for your company, for it to work. So this is the time for the creatives.
Okay. Yeah. And just to be clear, NFT, like in terms of what an NFT could be, it has to be an asset, right? So like a song can be minted as NFT, a film, right? Film can be minted. So what are some, like, are there any restrictions as to what you can actually, it works the same as a copyright, right?
I mean, like I said, there's no restrictions right now, which is awesome. So that gives us that ability to kind of just play around with it, get as creative as possible. I mean, we're saying this right now live. We could mint a favor. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of different rules that we can explore with this game, but it really boils down to, as a business and as a company, how would it help me? So I'm thinking 10 years ahead, and where everyone literally are going to be waking up one day and just putting on virtual goggles to go to work because they'll be working in the metaverse. So I'm thinking that if I have someone working in the metaverse, just like I'm doing now, I draft the work, I pass these advertisements, I pass billboards, that's what the digital world is going to be. So how do I see myself and other businesses in the digital world? And because I know that, the possibilities are endless, I want to basically have it that in this digital world, the way I do it is just going to be so cool and unique that someone was going to be like, oh my God, like I want that, Right. If I'm driving down right now and a billboard just jumps out at me, that's cool. It catches my attention, Right. So we have to start thinking like that and just seeing, does it make sense for my business to do that? If I'm a candy company, does it make sense for me to jump out at someone, or do I have a softer approach, So I think what's important now is to have, not screenings, but consultations with artists to just like find out what's your vision 5 years from now for your brand, and how does that in a digital realm help you?
Got it. Okay. So I have another question.
Axe away, fire.
And I have a question for you in a second.
Alright.
Get ready for me.
Gotcha.
So, you mentioned marketability a second ago, right? And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, when these exist in this metaverse, right? If I am not known in the real world or metaverse or anywhere for that matter, right? And I start to mint my artwork, how does someone even find me to buy my work in this vast metaverse? Like, how, if you're not someone that's known, how do you make money minting? Because I feel like there's just a hype, right? Right now, a lot of people feel like, man, if I'm in my NFT, my artwork, man, I'll just be a millionaire by tomorrow. When the whole time you don't even really use social media like that. So you're and outside of social media, you're not known, right? Because of course there's a world outside of that.
Right.
So how, if you don't have that, I guess, following, is it kind of like a low chance of you thriving in this metaverse? Like, how do you make money if you're not known like that?
Well, first off, I want to say that for everyone who's watching, especially if they're a person of color, I want them to not have that procrastination at all. I want them to eliminate that, jump into it. Because when everything was on the internet and someone was in Kansas or Missouri and they had this small mom and shop pop business and they was like, do I have to go online? I'm so used to, regular trades and goods. So they went online and all of a sudden you got orders from Wisconsin and California. Someone is going to find you. Someone is going to be out there looking for you. You go to the metaverse, trust me, that universe is going to be so large. But what it is, it's like a Zagat where it's like, oh, you're here. You do something in the metaverse, you're something. You're, no matter what it is, like, oh, this is what you can do in the metaverse. Like, here's a place here, So just do it. Someone out there has a niche. Someone out there has some kind of fetish. Someone out there has some kind of attraction to something, and they're going to want to find you. So I would say start, and if you want to really expand like anyone else does, just network. So the communities exist out there. Discord right now is one of the biggest things for people who have NFTs to like expand their platform. Twitch, OpenSea, Rarible, these are places that now these communities are joining. But yeah, once you get on these platforms, network, because these groups are available. Clubhouse. We just got to start.
Clubhouse.
Of course, we just got to start branching out. But I say that just get on there first. If you really want to just start something, get on the metaverse, because somebody out there in this world is just looking for you. Yeah, right. Absolutely.
So
and
essentially, it's about the community that you can even create.
Yes.
To then thrive off of. Okay, cool. Absolutely. So I just want to talk to my friend over here.
You can do something,
right? Because you're like fully immersed, right? You're not just like some guy that makes work in your house and like you don't get into the art world, right? So, and with because it looks like you got into NFT before we even like got into it, right?
Yeah,
so what are some of the differing opinions, fears, myths? What are some of the things within that, well, not within the artist community, right? Because you're just one person. But what are some of the things that you've heard in terms of what are artists afraid of right now,
definitely.
Right? What do they need to get into it?
Yeah, I would say one of the biggest fears that, me personally, that I've thought of, and I recently read an article about it as well on Art News this past week, plagiarism. Individuals actually taking your work, because I've been I'll be honest, I've been putting my work on the internet since 2011 on redbubble.com. So my I guess digital footprint in terms of my artwork is like out there. Who's to say someone doesn't copy and I say I'm in the physical world, but I create most of my art like digitally through Microsoft Paint, and then I'll mix media, I do a bunch of other stuff with it. So digitally, the image of it is out there at a wide range. So my biggest fear is more so, who's to say someone doesn't grab, like trademarking. If someone, who doesn't say someone doesn't trademark or copyright my joint before I do, you feel me? So I'll say that's one of my, but that isn't necessarily a fear that makes me not want to get into it. It's more so a fear of like, yo, homie, you need to hurry up.
Right.
Cause
like, get on it.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of my biggest fears with it. And then on the flip side is what I said earlier about more so like, who's to say like when I do put my, my visions on a platform, who's to say now that platform doesn't own it? You know what I'm saying? I can go into a lot of different facets of it as well. Even when in terms of selling my arts physically to a collector, being very careful who I'm selling that to. 'Cause at the end of the day, this is my soul, this is my spirit, this is my soul vibrating in this reality, and I gotta be careful who I get that to, because I don't know who's gonna put that on their altar and utilize my spirit to like manifest what they want to manifest, or to kind of like, you know, so you can go real deep into it. So that's another fear of like who's actually buying my stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing that I'll say those are 3 of the fears that I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's legit, because that's literally what I said before. Like, say if he doesn't get to copyrighting his work, I could just screenshot it and boom.
Yeah.
I am that. But I love that you actually literally appeal to everyone watching to say, look, now is the time. Like, not tomorrow, not next week.
Yeah.
So I just hope that we're super clear to everyone out there in terms of, and then also, I don't know if maybe you want to chime in too. Do you know how artists can mint their work right now? Like, what are some ways that artists can get into minting their stuff and take the first step towards NFT life?
So right now I'm currently hosting some Blaze and Create seminars in which artists can work with, well, not artists, people. Anybody can really work with a graphic artist and mint their artwork. But if they wanted to do it themselves, I mean, OpenSea is definitely one of the main platforms where they could do that. I have other platforms that I've done my research on, but I don't want to speak on it confidently because these guys are just not, you know, they're not at the level where they can be verified, you know. So, but there are places where you can mint for free. There are places where you don't even pay a cost to have it, but until someone purchases it, you pay a gas fee. There's all these different these rules, and that's why it's kind of important to just do your due diligence and see what works for you. Maybe you have the income where you can just mint and whatever happens, happens, or maybe this is a real risk for you, this is a real investment, so you might want to utilize those networks that allow you to mint for free just so you can have it up there and then gauge the response that people are in the world to your artwork.
Okay, dope. Have you minted any pieces yet?
I have not. I've recently, this has been something that's been on, I mean, it's been something that's been on my mind for months now, but this week was definitely a time where I wanted to push towards, you know, getting on one of these platforms. But I was waiting for this conversation just to get some insight from, you know, the panel over here. And but this week I think I'll be making the move. I'll be making that move. So.
Dope.
Yeah.
Dope. So, last 2 questions for you, right? First and foremost, what are gas fees? You said gas. I'm like, wait, I thought you just said we're minting for free. How do we get? Why would I pay a gas fee? What is that?
So gas fees are the transaction fees in order to actually mint your NFT using the particular platform. So there's all the Ethereum right now is the source. So just like you have funds, you have dollar bills, right? Ethereum is the dollar bill that powers the NFTs. There's all these other ones, Solana, Cardano, and they're emerging too, but right now Ethereum is the main one. And the amount of people that are trying to mint their NFTs at the same time causes a gas surge. So think of it like Uber and Spike, you know? When it's raining, for example, everyone's getting an Uber now because no one wants to be walking in the rain. So now there's this surge price because all of a sudden the traffic that's being focused on this one particular network is going up. And that's what gas fees essentially are. So there are times when you can literally mint the NFT for a low price. And there are times where due to the timing or the day of, or maybe because someone like Snoop Dogg, when he announced that he was like the owner of like how many cryptos, all of a sudden there was a surge in the gas because his network is that broad, you know? So everyone all of a sudden was like, bing, NFTs, oh, let me pay attention to it. So yeah, gas fees are essentially just surge and spikes.
Okay, so does that mean, and last question in retrospect to that, does that mean that at one point it can get too expensive for you to mint your NFT? Say if I'm not like, you know what I mean, there? Like, let's just say it is the day that Snoop Dogg decides to do whatever X, Y, and Z, and the gas price is like through the roof. And I guess my question is, because as we see the metaverse advance, right, we're going to start to see some regulation. And when that happens, right, where does that leave the regular person who can afford to get it? Because it sounds like a gas price technically is like an entry price, right? Right? Because if I can't afford that, then what am I selling? So essentially, are you saying we got to get in now before it's an exclusive club? I mean, like, what happens when we get to that point, right?
I mean, all of us right now, if we could go back to 2011 when Bitcoin was $1,
Listen, don't even do it.
I think everybody would just
do
say
it.
like, hey, you should invest, right? So history repeats itself.
So late to that.
And I would say right now, yeah, like,
Yeah.
jump on it now because it's only going up. As, if you see what life is heading, what Facebook is doing, we just had a conversation, the fact that a big company like that, you said, can change their name to Meta,
Well,
because
they changed the concept.
Right, because
Right?
they just know
Right.
exactly what they're about to do. That's significant enough to know that crypto is here to stay. So make these investments now and just do due diligence because like any investment, it's about risk and reward.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I feel good.
A little more confident about entering this world.
Do you?
I mean, I've learned a lot more information from this brilliant brother right here than I knew before I walked in here. So I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Same. Really appreciate you. I appreciate you both for taking the time today to talk. And thank you to everybody out there. So again, I just want to go through where can people find you, because I'm sure people have a lot more questions, and you can send it to either of us or you could send it to who we would send it to, right? So where can people find you, and are you going to have more workshops and things like moving forward to educate people?
On IG, Habanero Papi, HABANEROPAPI, and December 15th was the date that we have scheduled, but I'm sure that we might have to restructure for the next week, but we're going to have another NFT Blaze and Create in December, and we're encouraging all to attend because literally you come and you leave with stock, and I think that's something that the people, should benefit from, is to just like everyone should have stock right now.
That's bomb. That's bomb. Okay, thank you. You didn't say much today, but why don't we tell people where to find you? Cause
This is a learning session for me.
right, we
So
both
good.
came. No.
Facts. Watson Mir, you can find me on Instagram at artofmir_. Mir is MERE, and artofmir.com. Those are my main spots.
Cool. Thank you guys so much.
But thank you so much for having us.
Of course, and I really hope that we get to rap like this again, right?
Thanks.
I feel like part 2 should be on Clubhouse sometime soon, right? Maybe we can take it to the next level with these questions. But thank you so much for giving us that baseline, right? So I just want to say thank you so much to everyone at home joining us. Again, you're tuned into the 2021 SLAP Friendsgiving Telethon. We have a hefty goal, so click on the donate button. You got some great information here, so show us how much you appreciate us and look forward to us continuing the programming by donating. Look out for me. My name is Mitch Factorial from @SupportBlackArt, and we just like to say thank you very much, right?
Hey.
Cool. Good night, everyone.
Blessings.